I'm honored to introduce our next speaker. He's a legendary civil rights attorney, a social and environmental justice advocate. He's the lead attorney in both the challenge of the CPV power plant's environmental approvals and as well as the way on the sixth civil disobedience trial in which he presented the necessity defense. As you might know, the necessity defense means that civil disobedience is the lesser of two evils to avoid imminent harm where there is no legal alternative. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure and my honor to introduce Michael Sussman. Give it up.
Power to the people. Ladies and gentlemen, it's wonderful to see everyone here. I want to thank Dennis for being here, Jamie for his support, Pramila for her steadfastness, and all of you. We're at a historic moment, one which has been made manifest by the speakers you've heard, and I'm sure will be by all to follow. We're at a point where temporizing politicians who speak out of both sides of their mouth have to be as ancient as fossil fuel. We're at a point where our anger must transcend the need we each have personally to be calm in our lives. It's not a moment for calmness. It's a moment for urgency and anger. The civil rights movement did not succeed because everyone was willing to go into a room and have a calm conversation with their oppressor. The civil rights movement succeeded because people like Malcolm and many, many others were on the front line demanding justice. Today's civil rights issue is the issue that all of us share. The need for a planet which we can pass to our children without the high levels of toxicity that our current lifestyle promotes. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when we look at the CPVs of this world, I see the asbestos manufacturers, I see the cigarette companies, I see the automakers, I see every major industrial force which has lied to our people for a century. Self-interested witnesses in a courtroom are no better than self-interested witnesses in the public domain. And what we have heard over and over again are lies, flat out lies. Lies that their processes will not pollute, that their processes will not create what every scientist who seriously studies them claims. At our necessity defense trial, we were honored to have two eminent climatologists from Cornell come and testify. The district attorney of our county knew months in advance they would be coming. And guess what happened? Neither of them was subject to one question of cross-examination. Not one question. When Bob Howarth and Anthony Ingraffia explained the perils of CPV and the imminent contribution that plant would make to climate change, both globally, in our state, in our region, they were not challenged in any way. That led a judge, a conservative judge, to have to say, yes, climate change is real, but you guys protested too soon. Too soon. The plant wasn't about to open, so there's no imminence. About as shallow as legal reasoning comes. A reason that the people cannot depend on the courts. A reason the people must be angry and in the streets. A reason that the way we on to 6 have to be multiplied many times over. If it wasn't imminent then, it's imminent now. Now I have a message to some of these politicians. And I want you to listen very loud and clear, Mr. Cuomo. At the same time your father gave the great speech about two Americas and the Hill, and you all remember that. He and his government were condoning and forwarding racial segregation in Yonkers. Eventually, I got them to pay $300 million to undo the state's contribution to that racial segregation. That was the governor who was speaking about two peoples on the Hill and inequality and racism, but when it came to public policy, there was very little. We have a governor right now, whatever his ambitions, they don't matter to me. What matters to me is his authority. And what he can do is save our county a lot of tsuris. And tsuris is a Yiddish word for trouble. He can save our black dirt farmers. He can save our children. He can assist mightily. He must use his authority. We don't need any more temporizing politicians. No more. You either do it or you don't. As Phil said, which side are you on? Now, I have a message for our county executive, those of us from Orange County, Mr. Stephen Newhouse, whose ambitions are even larger than Mr. Cuomo's, who's much younger than Mr. Cuomo. Let me tell you something. You've had 3 3/4 years in office. It's time to stand up for the people. It's time to take action which emphasizes the health and welfare of your citizens. And if you won't do it, step aside. Step right aside. And for our congressman, who no one's mentioned by name, but I will, the moderate Democrat who wants to be on every side of every issue, Mr. Maloney, Mr. Baloney, here it is. We met with him in his office 2 years ago, and a number of you were in the meeting. And what he told us was CPV is a, quote, bridge fuel. And I support it because it's a bridge fuel to the future. And when we said to him, the future of 40 years, what kind of bridge is 40 years? The Tappan Zee Bridge, but not this bridge. And he looked at us with his arrogant tendencies, and he knew best. He doesn't know anything about it. We have got to get rid of individuals who refuse to stand up for the public, period. Power to the people. Thank you.